thrown out by my own mom, replaced, forgotten. I rebuilt my life alone. And just when I was finally free, she showed up on my porch with a question I never expected. You ever feel like you are being erased in real time? Like someone is looking straight through you, rewriting your place in the world with a single sentence? That was the night my mother looked me in the eye and said, "You are too old to be living here, Aaron. This is my home now. Ours." She meant hers and Tom's. Tom, the man she married less than a year after my dad passed. The man who took one look at me, decided I was a problem, and never stopped making me feel like one. I was 19 when she brought him into our lives. 19, still grieving, still going to night school, while bagging groceries at the local Food Lion just to keep gas in my car. Tom showed up with his starched shirts, cheap cologne, and opinions about everything. Said I was lazy. Said I was disrespectful. Said I needed to man up and get out in the world. And somehow, my mother, who used to make me warm milk when I could not sleep, who taped my drawings to the fridge, started echoing every word he said. At first, it was subtle. She would ask if I had looked at apartments. She started locking the thermostat. Then came the real message, slipped between her lips like it was wisdom. You will understand when you are older. This is my chance at happiness. It was not a fight, not some dramatic screaming match. It was a quiet Wednesday evening. The smell of lemon-scented cleaner still hanging in the air. I had just finished wiping down the counter when Tom walked in, stood beside her, and said, "You cannot keep coddling him. He is in the way." She did not argue. She just nodded. And right there, I realized I was already gone. I did not yell. I did not beg. I packed what I could fit in 2 duffel bags, left behind my old books, my guitar, the blanket my grandma made. I walked out the front door as the porch light clicked off behind me. No goodbye. No hug. No I am sorry. Just me, my bags, and a sky that suddenly felt too big. And that first night, I had nowhere to go. But the worst part came the next morning, when I woke up on a stranger's couch, checked my phone, and saw her message. One line. "I hope someday you'll see this was for the best." And that was just the beginning. I bounced around like a pinball for the first year. No plan. No map. Just doing what I could to keep my head above water. First it was Marcus's couch, an old buddy from high school who lived with 2 roommates in a rundown apartment near the rail yard. The place always smelled like burnt eggs and moldy carpet, and the bathroom had this slow drip that never stopped. But it was a roof. That was more than I had the night before. I told him I would be gone in a week. I stayed 3 months. That first stretch taught me what survival mode really looked like. I picked up whatever work I could. Stocking shelves at the 24-hour drugstore. Unloading trucks at a thrift warehouse. I even spent 2 weeks holding a going out of business sign on a corner while drivers threw trash at me. People think hitting rock bottom is some dramatic crash. For me, it was quiet. Slow. Like rust creeping in. I missed hot showers. I missed my old room with the window that whistled in the wind. I missed someone knowing where I was at the end of the day. I missed being someone's kid. But every time I thought about calling her, just to hear her voice, I remembered that night. The way she stood behind Tom, arms folded, lips tight like she was waiting for me to finally disappear. And that message, "You'll see this was for the best." I clung to those words, not because they gave me peace, but because they lit a fire in me. If she needed to believe I was the problem, I would make damn sure I proved her wrong. So I kept moving. By year 2, I was renting a tiny room behind a gas station. Bare walls. 1 window. No stove. I kept a mini fridge beside my mattress and cooked noodles in an electric kettle. But it was mine. Nobody could throw me out. Nobody told me I was in the way. During the day, I worked at a parts warehouse, lugging boxes, fixing busted forklifts. At night, I studied. Took online business classes with whatever energy I had left. Bit by bit, I was building something. Not a dream. Not yet. Just stability. Funny thing is, when you grow up being treated like an afterthought, your greatest revenge is becoming someone people cannot ignore. I was getting there. Slowly. Quietly. But then came the letter. Not a text. Not a call. A real envelope, addressed in my mother's handwriting. Inside was 1 sentence. "We need to talk. It's urgent." I held that envelope for almost a week before I opened it. It sat on my desk, right next to my cracked coffee mug and a stack of bills I was still too broke to pay on time. Every time I glanced over, her handwriting stared back at me, same as it looked on my birthday cards when I was a kid. Back when she used to call me her little oak tree. Strong. Steady. Hard to shake. That was before Tom. Before you are too old to be living here. Before she let me vanish without a fight. So what did she want now? The envelope was plain. No return address. Just my name in that soft, round script. Inside, one small sheet of paper. No greeting, no apology, no warmth. Just that line. We need to talk. It's urgent. No mention of Tom. No love, Mom. Not even a phone number. I half expected a follow-up text. Nothing came. That silence told me everything I needed to know. This was not about me. This was about them. Maybe Tom got sick. Maybe they were behind on mortgage payments. Maybe the man who pushed me out of that house was no longer as steady as he used to seem. The thought twisted something in my gut. There was a time, before everything went sideways, when I would have dropped everything to help her. I used to think of her like home. Even after I left, part of me kept hoping she would call. Say she had made a mistake. Say Tom was gone. That she missed me. But she never did. And now, after all these years of silence, she sends this? I thought about throwing the letter away, but something made me keep it. A week later, I got the second message. This time through a mutual friend named Patrice. She ran into my mother at the grocery store. She looked rough, Patrice said over the phone. Thin. Tired. Said she has been trying to reach you. Something about needing help with the house. I asked if Tom was still around. There was a pause. Then Patrice said the words that made my hands go numb. No. He left. Last month. Tom left. That was the first time I had heard those words out loud. It did not hit the way I thought it would. I had pictured that moment before, fantasized about it, even. Tom packing his self-righteous bags, storming out, maybe yelling something stupid on his way out the door. But in real life, it just felt hollow. I asked Patrice what happened. She said she did not know much, just that the rumors were swirling. People said he had been sick for a while. Some kind of slow illness that took his energy, then his job, then whatever patience he had left. One day, he just disappeared, packed up and never came back. I will be honest, I did not feel sorry. The man made my life a living hell. He stepped into our lives like he owned the place, and my mother handed him the keys, figuratively and literally. But the part that caught me off guard was this. My first thought was not about Tom. It was about her. My mother. She had picked him over me. She had chosen his version of happiness over the one we had built together during all those years. It was just her and me. And now, after pushing me out, she was alone in that same house. The one that used to be ours. Did she regret it? Did she think about the night I left, the porch light flicking off behind me? I tried not to care. I had spent too long training myself not to. But late that night, I pulled out the envelope again. Read that single line over and over. We need to talk. It's urgent. I tossed it aside. But then the third message came. Not from her. Not from Patrice. It was a voicemail from a number I did not recognize. When I played it, I recognized the voice right away. It was Tom. His voice was weak, raspy, like someone struggling to push each word out. You win, he said. Then came the real punch to the gut. She's losing the house, Aaron. That voicemail looped in my head for days. You win. That is what Tom said, like this whole thing had been a competition. Like my life, the pain, the years of being discarded, was just some scoreboard between us. Then he said she was losing the house. No details, no explanation. Just those 5 words, dropped like a grenade. I did not know what to feel. Part of me wanted to laugh. After all those years of hearing I was too old, in the way, a burden, now they needed me? Now I was the lifeline. I replayed the message a dozen times, listening for any sign of regret. There was none, just tired resignation. Like he hated having to say it out loud. And that told me everything. This was not about love, not about family. It was survival. They were drowning, and I was the only one they thought might toss them a rope. I sat in my car outside the auto shop where I was managing now. Nothing fancy, just a steady job I earned after years of scraping by and studying when no one was watching. I looked at the life I had built with my own 2 hands. My name on the lease of a decent 1-bedroom. A car that ran without coughing. Friends who actually wanted me around. And yet, I felt it. That old guilt. The ghost of being a son. What if I ignored them? What if I let the house go? Let it slip away like they let me slip away? But then again, why should I help? They had a chance to choose me. They had every opportunity to love me through the storm. Instead, they treated me like furniture that did not match the new decor. I wrestled with it all night. And by morning, I made a decision. I would go back. Not to help. Not yet. But to see. To look them in the eyes. To find out if anything at all, was real. So I called the number back. The one from the voicemail. A woman answered. Not my mother. Not Tom. Someone I had never heard before. She said she was a nurse. Said Tom was in a facility now. Then she asked if I was the son. Before I could answer, she added something that stopped my breath cold. She has been sleeping in her car. I had not seen the house in 6 years. Driving through that neighborhood again felt like traveling through a dream you were not sure you wanted to remember. Every street lamp and mailbox looked familiar, but off, like time had peeled off just enough paint to remind you things were not the same anymore. The yard was still there, overgrown, yellow patches where grass used to be green. That little garden bed my mom used to tend? It was just dirt now. A cracked bird bath sat beside it, tilting like it had given up trying to stay upright. But the driveway was empty. No cars. No porch light. No sound. I parked across the street and sat there, engine idling, heart punching through my chest like it was trying to escape. I told myself I was just here to look, to get closure. But we both know that was a lie. I got out. The porch creaked under my weight. The same creak it always made, like a groan that had not changed in decades. My hand hovered near the doorknob, out of habit, but I stopped myself. Instead, I walked around the side of the house, past the rusted AC unit and the shattered gutter Tom always said he would fix but never did. That was when I saw it. A beat-up silver sedan parked under the old willow tree. And her. She was in the driver's seat pushed back, wrapped in a coat she used to wear when we went to fall festivals together. It looked too big on her now. Her face was thinner, hair grayer, but I would know her anywhere. She was asleep. No, not asleep. Just closed. Eyes shut, hands folded, like she was waiting for a world that had forgotten her. I knocked gently on the window. She jolted awake, blinked fast, tried to get her bearings. Her eyes met mine. For a second, she just stared. No emotion, no recognition. Like her mind could not quite accept what it was seeing. Then her lips parted. Aaron. I nodded. She started crying before she said anything else. Her face collapsed in a way I had never seen before. Not even at Dad's funeral. This was not grief. This was shame. She opened the door, but did not get out. I did not know who else to call, she said. I waited. I thought he would take care of everything. He said we would be fine. I stayed quiet. She shook her head, covering her mouth like she wanted to hide behind her hands. He left me with nothing, Aaron. Nothing. I cannot pay the bills. They're coming for the house. They said if I do not pay at least part of the balance this week, they'll start the process. I do not know where else to go. That was when I felt it, this strange, hollow ache. Not anger, not even pity, just exhaustion. Years of being unwanted, forgotten, shoved aside, and now here she was. No Tom, no porch light, just the woman who turned her back on me, now looking at me like I was her only chance. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away, because I had not said yes. Not yet. I sat with her in that car for almost an hour. She kept talking, voice cracking between sentences, explaining how Tom drained their savings over the last year. Hospital bills, missed mortgage payments. He never told her how bad things had gotten. Just kept saying he had it handled, right up until the day he packed his things and left a note that said, "You'll land on your feet." The irony hit me hard. That was exactly what she had expected from me too. "You'll understand when you're older," she had said, the night she let me go. This is my chance at happiness. Now she was sitting in a freezing car, clutching that same coat like it could shield her from everything collapsing around her. I did not know what to say. Part of me wanted to scream. To ask her how she could sit beside that man while he pushed me out of my own home. To ask if she had ever thought about calling before everything went to hell. To ask if she even missed me. But I didn't ask any of that, because I already knew the answers. Instead, I asked how much she owed. She hesitated. 5,000, give or take, she whispered. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because 5,000 was exactly what I had saved over the last 6 months to start a small shop, my first real investment in something that was mine. A small garage space. Nothing fancy, but it was going to be a start. My start. I could help her. I could write the check. But if I did, I would be throwing away the very thing I had worked for. She must have seen something shift in my face, because she got quiet. Then, she said it. I know I failed you. I know I should have done more. It was the closest thing to an apology I had ever heard from her. And somehow, It still felt like not enough. Then she added, softer than I expected. You're a good man, Aaron. You always were. Even when I didn't deserve your kindness. I stared out the windshield. The house sat there, dull and crumbling, like a skeleton of everything we used to be. And that was when she said the one thing I did not expect. If you help me, I'll sign it over. I turned. She nodded. The house. Your name. Yours. No strings. I did not answer her right away. We sat in that cold car, the windows fogging up from our breath, silence sitting heavy between us like a third person neither of us invited. She kept glancing over at me, hopeful, tired, maybe even ashamed, but I stayed staring straight ahead. The house was right there. The same house I had once memorized like the back of my hand. Every creak in the floorboards, every chipped tile in the kitchen, every late-night shadow on the hallway wall. And now she was offering it to me. Like a prize. Like that could erase everything. You would sign it over? I asked, finally breaking the silence. She nodded, quick. Too quick. It is the least I can do. But I could see it in her eyes. This was not just about doing the right thing. This was a last-ditch trade. Her way out of sleeping in a car. Her way to make it feel like she still had something left to give. I leaned back, letting the seat groan beneath me. The math ran through my head like wildfire. $5,000 to stop the foreclosure. Maybe another 2 for the overdue utilities. Then repairs. Then time. All of it poured into a place soaked with memories I had spent years trying to outrun. But what gnawed at me worse than the money was the idea of stepping back into her world. The neighbors who watched me leave. The kitchen where Tom told me I was useless. The front porch where she stood and said nothing while I packed my life into 2 bags. And now she wanted me to come back, not as her son, but as her rescuer. That was the role I was being handed. That was the string she swore was not there. I need time, I finally said. She nodded like she understood, but I could see the fear behind her eyes. I had always been predictable. I had always shown up. She thought I would again, and that was her mistake. Later that night, I sat in my apartment, staring at the envelope with the loan paperwork for the garage I had been planning to rent. My future. My start. And suddenly, I thought about something else. What if this was not about saving her? What if this was about reclaiming the house not for her, but for me? Not as the boy they threw out, but as the man who came back on his own terms. But right when I started to consider it, my phone lit up again. A new message. Not from her. From Tom. One sentence. You should ask her what really happened to your father's savings. That message hit like a brick to the chest. Tom's voice had always grated on me. Patronizing, smug. But that text? That was different. It was like a crack in the surface of something I thought was already dead. I stared at it for a long time. Just 10 words. You should ask her what really happened to your father's savings. I had not thought about that account in years. Back when Dad was still around, he was careful with money. Frugal. Always squirreling away bits and pieces. Spare change in a jar, extra hours at the plant, small investments that added up over time. He used to say it was for me. That when I turned 21, I would have something to build a life on. But after he died, the account was gone. I was too numb to ask questions back then. Too busy watching my mother unravel, then reassemble herself into something new, something that fit better beside Tom. I had assumed it went toward funeral costs, toward the mortgage, toward life, I guess. But now I was not so sure. I called her the next morning, straight to the point. What happened to Dad's savings? There was silence on the other end. Then a sharp inhale. Not surprise, not confusion, guilt. I used some of it, she said. Some. Her voice cracked. All of it. The room around me felt suddenly too small. She told me it happened fast, right after Dad's funeral. She was overwhelmed, lost. And then Tom came in with his bright ideas and his promises. Said he could manage things. Said they should start fresh. They cashed out everything. The account. The bonds. Even the old safe deposit box my father had quietly paid for year after year. It all went to Tom. To investments, she said. To a new car. To some half-baked plan to start a home renovation business that never got off the ground. Then it was gone. My father's work. His legacy. My future. Gone. She cried on the phone. Kept saying she was sorry. That she thought it would pay off. That she was trying to build something better for us. But there was never an us. There was Tom. And her choice. And me. On the outside, watching it all fall apart. When I hung up, I just sat there for a long time. Letting it settle. I had a choice now. Walk away for good, keep my peace, build my life without their shadows hanging over me. Or take the house, not to save her, not to erase the past, but to reclaim what was mine before Tom ever set foot in our lives. It was not about revenge anymore. It was about dignity. And right then, I knew exactly what I was going to do. I showed up 3 days later. Not out of guilt, not out of love. I showed up because I needed to finish something. Close a door that had been left open too long. She was sitting on the porch when I pulled up. Same spot where she watched me walk away years ago. Except now, her shoulders were hunched, her hair tied back loosely, eyes red like she had not slept. She stood when she saw me, hope in her face. That desperate kind. I did not say anything, just handed her an envelope. She opened it slowly, hands shaking. Inside was a cashier's check. $5,000. Enough to stop the foreclosure. Enough to give her a place to stay, for now. Her mouth opened, like she wanted to thank me. But I stopped her. There are conditions, I said. She nodded quickly. Anything. You will sign over the house, I told her. Today. No second chances. No emotional speeches. Her eyes welled up again, but she did not argue. Not this time. I had already called a notary. They met us at the kitchen table, the same one where Tom used to sit and make snide remarks while I ate cereal before work. The notary asked if she understood what she was signing. She did. I watched her write my name in trembling cursive. Watched her push the papers forward like they weighed 100 pounds. And that was it. The house was mine. When the notary left, she tried to say something. Maybe explain. Maybe apologize. But I held up a hand. I am not coming back here, I said. Not to live. Not to visit. You made your choices. This is me making mine. She looked like she wanted to cry again, but I did not wait. I walked out the front door. And this time, I turned off the porch light myself. The house sold 3 months later. I did not keep it. I did not want it. I took the money and opened my garage shop, just like I had planned. A small place. Nothing flashy. But mine. And the first thing I did? I screwed a metal plaque to the front door. Oak and Sons. A name I had carried since childhood. A name Dad used to call me. Not a tribute to her. Not a memory of Tom. Just me, reclaiming what I was owed. A few weeks after opening, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. But the handwriting was familiar. I hope someday you'll forgive me, it said. This is my chance to be better. I folded it once. Tucked it in a drawer I never opened. Because here is the truth. I am not bitter. I am not broken. I just finally understand what family really means. It is not who you are born to. It is who shows up when it matters. And sometimes, that person has to be you.